What is good, everyone? This is James, the Ghost Set Killer with Put 'em on the Glass podcast. Today's episode is going to be Rex and Effects. We're kicking it back to 1990s because my freaking setup is still in the middle of some crazy ass shit that I'm trying to do that isn't working out very well, so I do apologize. And our co-host is...
That would be Brad, Glass Monkey. Welcome to the jungle, baby. It's the year of the monkey. Get ready. And look what the monkey dragged in tonight for us. Who we got with us?
All right, so I'm Trey with Glass Express in Beaufort, South Carolina.
Yeah, that's right.
South Carolina. How far are you from Gaffney?
I don't know, a few hours probably.
I just know.
We're coastal, man. We're over by Hilton Head Island.
Yeah. Hey, my brother just vacationed there. Him and his family just vacationed there this last weekend, Hilton Head. So
big golf player.
Yeah,
is it a big golf player.
Huge golf player. Huge golf player.
Yeah, I'll do it.
But you're probably about 2 hours from Bradford, aren't you? How far from Savannah are you? About an hour?
Hour, yeah, right at an hour. I actually grew up in Georgia over around Savannah, and then we moved in over here.
Okay, he's from
over here, or bought a shop.
Brunswick. Yeah, he's from Brunswick.
Oh, okay.
Driftwood Auto Glass.
I don't really like Brunswick.
Yeah. He doesn't either right now. He's not having a good time there either right now.
He's got something to say. He's got something. We should have got him on too.
Oh, anytime we want, I could probably make that happen. We talk pretty much daily.
We need to hear from him again.
Trey,
installment.
Yes, Trey, you just recently partnered up with the Independent Glass Association. What was your decision for that? Like, what did you see coming down the pipe that you're just like, I got to jump on this?
I don't know. I've been fighting on the state front here since 2021. Yeah, I've been going up to the state house since we still had to wear masks at the state house, trying to work on state legislation, trying to handle some of the issues with in our auto glass industry and with the TPAs and whatnot. And I guess I've just made enough of a splash that Adrian Savich, I think that's how you say his last name, with Titan Auto Glass, he's on the board, and he had said something to me, I don't know, 2 or 3 times, said, hey man, I'd love to have you on the board. And then me and Gary Hart were back and forth in contact pretty regularly, and I said something to him about it, and he said, I think it's a great idea. And then I guess everybody voted on it before I even had a chance to really think it over. And he said, we'd love to have you. And so, all right, I guess let's do this.
Yeah, judicial-wise, they have to vote on you. So that had to make you feel a little good that everybody was in favor of bringing you on. I mean, your videos they're on point. They're well-produced. They're very to the point. They're like, there's no one who can watch one of your videos and be like, I didn't understand what he was saying there. Because they're so clear. The message is there. There's no in-between the lines kind of thing. So when you were thinking about doing that, now you're part of the IGA, did that make you want to make more videos? Or is this something you were just this was already in the bag?
So I was actually a little hesitant about doing the thing with the IGA because I'm so noisy, I kind of thought maybe it could be a conflict of interest or it could hurt what we were doing in the state. And I kind of had to have some reassurance from Gary and Adrian, and they said, hey, yeah, we don't think it's going to be much of an issue, but it seemed like the right thing to do because I don't see nearly enough people in our industry being noisy like we should be noisy. We wouldn't be in the situation that we're in now if everybody was noisy like this 15 years ago.
But the noise that we are making is not the right noise is kind of what I'm hearing because like there's a lot of noise, but it's about each other.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
There's a bunch of internal fighting going on. I mean, I've got my gripes with the way everybody operates, just like anybody else. But at this point in time, if we don't get this TPA thing under control, we stand to have serious repercussions in the future. I think the possibility of seeing independents just disappear is a real possibility.
You think we're going to disappear?
I didn't say everybody. There's going to be people that stand out and still do well, but I think there's a chance for a lot of folks to just kind of fade away.
Yeah, and you would think fortune would favor like the ones who have low overhead or who don't have a brick and mortar. But I'm kind of leaning towards like the people who don't have the market share to carry them through, who don't have that deep pool of customers calling all the time or accounts or however your business model is. It takes transactions to generate revenue. And
Oh yeah.
what we're seeing is this: a lot of the profit, the market share is just being driven before our market even gets to basically bid on it. So you joined the IGA because you were already kind of doing what they do anyway. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
why
sure.
that was a
I
big
was
draw for
already
all
headed
of
there.
us. So yeah. So, but I don't know. It's definitely uncertain. It could definitely. It's a threat. It's a threat that you're not going to see. In my town, we're a 3-person company, and then you got 3 or 4 1-person companies that operate out of their house garages and stuff like that. And I mean, if that's what you're doing now, no shade to you, but in the future, if it keeps going this way, I feel like we're not going to have 3, 4, 5 a town. We might have just one.
Well, I mean, in our market, there's 2 shops in town other than Safe Light. Both of us are brick and mortar. And we've got a decent market share, but I mean, we're still dominated by Safe Light when it comes to the insurance market share. And even a lot of the fleets. So Safe Light never got out of fleets in our market. So,
Really?
And oh yeah, they never got out. So they backed off of semis, but as far as fleet services, they never let up. It continued in our market.
That's weird. I mean, yeah, I'm close to corporate, right down the road from corporate, and we get to hear a lot of the funneling out of what's going on and everything. And so when they decided they were going out of fleets and they were going, I mean, they were losing their stronghold on the rental car companies. That did open the door for a lot of other companies, smaller companies, to, take over the fleets. And then, but I'm in the rental car companies, but I hear that once this Safe Light and State Farm thing kind of settles and they're kind of moving in that direction, that then they're going to really start hitting the fleets hard again, is kind of the rumor that I'm hearing. I mean, is that what you guys are hearing too?
Yeah, that's what we hear. Definitely. But my mind keeps going back to this conversation I was forced to have with a Grange underwriter just 2 or 3 days ago about a certain claim. And I feel like I've posted this in a group somewhere, a brief like snapshot. But I, if it was only just the funneling, if it was only just the market share that they enjoy and they just get the first in the sales position, it's called FISO to salespeople. And that's a very coveted position. If people just think of a service that they need done and your company floats up as, hey, I'll call them first because I know they do it, then that's you can't beat it if you're coming up automatically. So what I saw was that they are leaning on the big red and black for consultation advice. This is why we're seeing an uptick in inspection orders, follow up on ADAS scans and things like this that they normally wouldn't touch maybe for themselves, asking for extra pictures maybe. But this Granger underwriter called me because I'd requested an OEM glass approval for a Mazda with heads-up display. And I've put in a couple Mazdas before with aftermarket that had the HUD interlayer in it and were still blurry. And this is going to be for a good friend of mine. So I just wanted to not put them through any hassles, and I didn't want to install twice. So I was like, hey, let's just start off the rip. Let's get us a good high quality heads up display OEM for Mazda. Yeah, it was a very high upfront cost. And yeah, the dealer makes me pay before they order it. That's just how they do business. And then you're subject to the same reimbursement time period as your normal jobs, which is anywhere from 15 to 60 days or longer that some shops wait for their check. So here I am with this underwriter. Is this Brad? Last month I was like, yes, sir. Just an instant piss wagon right off the rip. Okay. He was already decided what the tone would take. And I was like, yeah, it's me. He goes, I see you requested for OEM because of, not LKQ. And I was like, yeah, I get it. Kind quality. It's not like that. That's what the HUD interlayer is. On the aftermarket, it's not the same kind and quality as it is on the OEM. And he's like, well, our preferred partner, SafeFlight, told us that they haven't really had a problem out of this aftermarket part before. And he was like, if you can get an OEM glass installed for $703, I'll approve it. But I'm seeing right here that I can get this part installed with our partner for $703, and that's all the insurance company has to pay. And I was like, well, I guarantee you that's not including calibration for that part. And the heads-up display will be blurry. It's not fitting for our customer. And I was like, so you're telling me that you're just looking out for the financial interest of the firm, whether and not doing what's best for the customer, giving him a functional heads-up display that's legible. I was like, that seems like a liability for you guys. He's like, well, it's unfortunately we are in business for profit, and if you can get it in for $703, you can do it. And I was like, well, I can't. And he goes, well, then OEM's not approved. And I was like, well, I'll tell my customer, and we just went our separate ways. So it's becoming so much more. They're being considered actual consultants, and that they do everything by the book in the proper way. And we just don't see that in the community when they start extracting windshields that are frustrating with hammers. We just don't see that level of consultancy, do we, Trey?
No. When you see photos of guys sitting on hoods.
Yeah. So how do they get the consultant vote? I get why they get the financial vote, the TPA vote, but I've never seen them do.
It's
very
price
rarely
fixing.
One.
It's
Yeah,
price
it
fixing
is.
because if they go in and they say,
price fixing.
so if they go in and they say, hey, we're taking care of your TPA, we're doing all these financial things for you. We're going to make you some money. But on top of that, we're going to make sure that you're not getting ripped off by these independents that don't know what they're doing. So basically they're kind of talking down, and then they're price fixing, saying, guys, this is all you're going to get paid for this job. That's it. And it's like, well, that doesn't make sense. And then, like if they want to go with the LKQ thing, like kind and quality, every piece of glass that goes back in a fucking vehicle should be OEM.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, because it came out and it was manufactured.
He said that term, not me. He's the one that brought LKQ in, and I told him, he goes, so now it's not about LKQ, it's what the customer just wants. I'm like, yeah, he prefers his heads-up display to be clear. Yeah, the customer prefers that. Yeah.
It's
went off on a tangent there.
Man, we lost an account over something like that recently. It was a body shop. Now, granted, the guy who owns this shop, we kind of anticipated in the long run there was going to be some issues. And, we've been doing work, I don't know, with them for 4 years, something like that. And it was a USA job. It was a Ram pickup truck. It had a Ram's Head logo in it. They wanted to go back with the Ram's Head logo. We quoted it out. They sent it up to USAA. USAA come in and said, hey, we got a quote from Red and Black for this price. And it was like, when you figured it in, it was actually like 52% off nags or something like that. So it's significantly less than what USAA would pay anyway in our market. And they said, this is all we're willing to pay. And the body shop come back to me and said, look, if you can get it down to this is what it has to be at. They won't pay $1 more than this. So, well, I'm sorry, we won't participate in price fixing. I'll cut you a bill for pulling the windshield out of it for you guys to do what you got to do. Call Safe Light and have them put it in. And they did. And then shortly after that, they went into doing all their own work in-house. So they got a couple body techs doing their own glass work in there.
Wow.
Which will last about 6 to 8 months. I've trained some body shops. A couple of my friends have trained some body shops locally around here, and and the ones that advertise they do glass usually sublet to another glass company because they've tried it in house, and I don't know what it is with body techs who they just can't be. They're just too heavy handed, I think. And then they're just like, I don't want to pull that glass. It's, I don't know. I don't know what the issue is, because they can't pay they don't have enough work to pay a full-time glass person just to do glass. They've got to do body work. They've got to do, all this other stuff, and then glass on top of it. And even if they're trained, sometimes, they're not going to be doing everything by the book. I mean, the manager comes in and says it needs to go, and it's just freshly painted, and that paint is traveled all the way over your urethane bead that they trimmed down because they decided that it was in their way for their paint. And then they're like, I can't do it, man. I got to take this all the way down to the E-coat, which who can stop at the E-coat when you start going through the layers? You got to, I don't know. That's a headache in itself, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what is going good for you guys, man? So y'all are bumming me out, man. Y'all are bumming me out. What's going good for you, Trey?
Yeah, come on, Trey.
Man,
Give us some
What's going
goodness.
good?
we're crushing it. We're crushing it. We acquired this business in 2020. Yeah, 2020 was the first year. We've grown about 300% since that point.
Oh, that's awesome.
We might break a mil this year in annual revenue. That's pretty
awesome.
sweet. Right now we're up to a team of 5, and I'm looking for another technician as we speak. I really could use a good master tech, man, but god dang, there is nobody in this market. They're just hidden. It's us, one other independent, and then the big guys. And I don't want any of them. So I mean, I haven't found any. Maybe there's one over there that's pretty decent, but I hadn't seen one yet. And,
Well, I think you're running pretty. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're over here crushing it, tagging along, and
I want to point something else, and this is how you're growing and you're keeping those good techs happy and around. Is I bet the morale of your place is a little bit better than some of your competitors in your region, because just for the fact that something I noticed last year on your social media feeds. I've been following you since for a while, Trey, and
okay.
You pretty much shut your whole shop down for Auto Glass Week, don't you? And you fly? Do you bring everybody out?
Yep. So we did last year. Now
that's
our
a
team
big
was
commitment.
Significantly smaller last year. I was supposed to bring out one of our techs last year, and I don't know. We couldn't agree. We couldn't agree on some pay. He wanted drastically more than what his ability was, and we pay pretty well now. But either way, so he quit on us right before that. So I called and said, "Hey, we need to take this ticket out of his name. I don't care. We'll waste the ticket. I'll give it away. We'll do something, but he can't come." And then, but this year we got a team of 5, and everybody's coming out. We're going to shut the shop down for a week.
Man, way to go, man!
It hurts, man.
It does.
Look at the numbers on it. It's like, woo, that's a lot of money not to invoice. And then, paying everybody to come out for the week. It's a lot, but I think it's going to be important for company morale and the morale of the team.
Man,
we got a really good team here. Everybody works together well, and like our rule is, Dave Ramsey talks about this, but our rule is we only work with people we like to work with, and if you aren't going to fit the team, we don't want you here.
I'm pumped you're coming out to Auto Glass Week. Obviously, I've got a big hand in that with everything that's going on. Make sure that they catch the keynote speaker. Brent Gleason, he has a book called Embrace the Suck. He's a former Navy SEAL. He also has a book called Taking Point. It's big. He's big on, the motivation, the 3 Ps, just like to get yourself out and get going kind of thing. I think that's going to be a great asset for everybody to attend that, but also all of the certifications that's going on, the new ADAS one, the CSR one, so those, the urethane ones, those are going to be good. But then also I've got demonstrations. Myself and Trish Lopez have demonstrations going on the floor all week long.
Yeah.
So on the floor where the competitions are going on too. So that's going to be something cool to look forward to as well.
It is. Now so on this one, y'all may know, but this is a new certification, like not just for Auto Glass Week, but like they're going to start offering this.
Yes. This is just the first place that it's offered, but it's going to go on from here on out, the ADAS and the CSR. I know we've been working hard on both of those tests because I've been in part of the ADAS one since we started talking about putting a certification together. And, we've been working hard on the test questions and making sure everything's vetted out and all that. So
now what kind of demo is Trey doing out there on the floor? Well,
I have a spot open if Trey wants to talk about it after this has kind of calmed down. Once we get off of air and we're in private, I'm going to, if Trey wants part, I've got a demo that is out there that he can be part of if he wants. And so it's completely up to him if he wants to be a participant.
You got anybody that can teach? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. The last time I tried to public speak, man, I tell you what, I fell flat on my face. My wife had to save me.
Well, you won't be public speaking. You won't be public speaking. Well, maybe you will, because the person that I'll have you working with might not want to be the public speaker either. So, because you'll be tag teaming up with a master technician, if you want to do this one, a master technician out of California. You guys will be partnering up on one of the demos. Plus, there's one other demo that I have that I don't have actually somebody reserved for. 2 actually, if you want to take my spot on the one, you can work with another legend of the industry from Florida. So we'll talk about it. See if you want to be part of it. Yeah. See if you want to be part of it.
Add the certification. So that was the determining factor for us taking the whole shop to Auto Glass Week. Because I sent RJ up to get his AGRIS cert for get his tech certification. Sent him up to Zuzu Shop in North Carolina through Auto Glass University, and he took the test and all that. But neither one of us have an ADOS certification, and the CSRs aren't certified, of course, because it's just now a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when we heard that was coming out, that was our determining factor to bring the whole shop. If those certifications weren't available, it had just been me and my wife.
Yeah. Well, those certifications, you'll sit through a class, and then at the end of it, you'll get a chance to take the test on site, I believe. It's not like in years past where you'd sit through the boot camp, and then you put your email, you give them your email, then later on they'll email you a link to go to it, to take it. I believe it's one of the ones that you can actually take on site and get your certification in it. Now, it might be that you have the option to one or the other. I'm not sure the actual details of that part because I'm not part of that mechanism, because I'm going to try to, as long as I'm not busy running around with the microphone doing a bunch of other stuff, I'm going to try to do the ADAS one. I'm going to try to sit through that class and then take the test. We'll see if I have enough time, because I've got a pretty busy schedule this year. This year I'm going to be, you'll be able to see me. I'll be nice and bright, but I'll just be hopping around everywhere.
Are you going in purple again this year?
I've got a pink suit, a purple suit, a blue suit, orange suit, and then a friend of mine is bringing me, supposedly, he's bringing me the jacket of all jackets. He's teasing me with what it looks like, but according to him, it is just amazing. So I'm looking forward to that jacket. We are giving the pink jacket out again this year at the closing ceremonies, the awards banquet. So Trey, get the awards banquet booked. We're going to be doing that as well. Presenting the pink jacket, and then obviously the big trophy and everything. So it's going to be a good time.
That's awesome. All right. So Trey, how long have you been doing Auto Glass, like in your life?
So
did
the
you
first
have any
time I
phases?
did Auto Glass.
Okay.
The first time I did Auto Glass, I think I was 14 years old. Mom dated a guy, and he had a little laptop shop, and I think it was like Memorial Day or something. He was like, "Hey man, you want to go to work with me for the day?" I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So now I worked right before I went to tech school. So I had a different life before Auto Glass. I was a master Harley tech, where I was almost a master Harley tech. I was like 2 months shy of getting my master cert. But so I went off, did that, and then wound up coming back to work for the guy for a few months, 14 months, and then started my own place. We got a little discrepancy about money, and I started my own shop. But I've been in the auto glass industry full time for, I think, 11 years now.
Nice. So you got tired of working on Honda Davidsons? That engine that they collaborated on, and the Showa suspension, and yeah. I'm a Japanese bike guy.
Funny story about Honda Davidsons. So, I think before I was born, I was real young, I think 1 or 2 years old. My dad and his friend built what they called a Honda Davidson. They took like a soft tail frame and stuck like a CB750 motor in it. And it was before my time. I never seen seen pictures of it, but him and the guys called it the Honda Davidson. And that was one of their little builds they did when I was just a pup.
It sounds freakish.
Well, they had to get those things to stop leaking oil. So that's when they partnered with the whole buyout and all that stuff, when they partnered with the engineers from Honda, and then they got the Showa suspension and, trade secrets that is not so secret, so I don't know. I'm a Japanese bike guy. I grew up racing Japanese bikes. I love Japanese bikes. So for me, it was kind of funny. Harley's an American brand, and, go America. I'm all go America, but boy, they just didn't make a very good bike. Sorry, Trey.
Man, I'm all about choloed out noise. That's like big ape hangers, fish tails.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Wheels.
They are cool. They're cool, but you just can't count on their reliability.
So the ape hangers,
depends on what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
I watch a little bit of mines. That's cool.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So the ape hangers. So to steer, do you just lean to steer?
That's it. You just
you do anyways. Yeah.
Bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, in the summertime, it's great with big ape hangers because if you're in a t-shirt, now I used to ride in a t-shirt. I'm probably gonna get some hate for that.
Yep.
You're riding a t-shirt is great, but in the wintertime, when you throw a leather on, you're like a flying squirrel. It just you get above 70 mile an hour, and you just getting beat all the hell by the wind, man.
Yeah, and then if you're up there too long, especially like if you're sitting at a light or something like that, and your fingers start going numb, and you're like, "Oh man, look, just son of a bitch," the vibration, and you got them above your heart. Yeah,
well, that's why you got to go Softail, man. Softails don't vibrate like that. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
Dyna. God, you get on a Dyna and you can't feel your toes when you get off of it. I hate it. I couldn't stand them, man.
It's like riding your ambush. Oh, that's another thing. The first time I saw Trey, it was a video in a Facebook reel. I didn't know him from Adam. And so my feed's full of like auto glass. It's full of good, bad, and terrible alike. And so here's Trey. Here's this tall dude. He's in his shop. He's like, you know what? He's like, auto glass tech pulls up to you. And the first thing he pulls out
is this. Oh,
he's like,
love that. I love that
like,
video.
Tell them
to get back in their van. They're not touching my car.
And I was like, no. I was like, you can't, no. No, I extract. Yeah.
I did not expect. So look here. That's the best video we've ever done as far as performance-wise.
Oh,
I've
I know
never
why.
had anything else get more than like 10,000 views, all right? But I posted it, and I had met James not long before that in Orlando, and then James shared it. And when James shared it, I was like, uh-oh, let's see where this goes. And it was not, like I kind of approached it like, okay, we're calling out other shops. But it really wasn't my intention to beat on other shops. It was my intention to beat on people who are hacking cars up. And you guys have seen it. You go out and somebody's cut one out with the Sawzall all the way around. They scarred it all up. And customers they're none the wiser. They don't know, man. They don't. People are destroying their cars.
Yep.
And man, so like when we started doing the social media stuff, my main goal was customer awareness. And so I was like, we were just in the beginning of it, and I was playing, and I was like, okay, let's be a little spicy right at the beginning of it and see what happens. And boy, I got all the spice because it took off, and I got a lot of hate. I got some love. I got some hate.
Yeah. And, I gave you love. I gave you love because I used that tool for many years, obviously being in Cento 3 or whatever. Use that tool for many years, but you have to become very good at that tool. You have to become very skilled. And just like one of the ones I watched today, someone posted a video of, they showed their bead around the 1494. And as they got across the bottom, you could see where they just danced the whole express off of that bottom, front painted thing. It's like, that. And
no, you're calling out Mark. You're calling out Mark Bison. Mark Bison.
I don't know who it is. Yeah. I don't know who it is, but I'm just like, oh my God. Are you guys going to primer that? I mean, because if you're getting ready to set the window, because you just, and you dance that across there, what is going on? Like, seriously, you got to primer that thing, man. Tape it off and make it look good, too. Primer it to where it looks uniform across there. Oh,
I know the guy. And I was like, Mark, that was there when Mark walked up. I guarantee that's on Mark's pre-inspection sheets. Mark didn't do that. I promise.
Why is it? Yeah. Okay. So he didn't do that, but I mean, that was like, oh my God, I seen that. And I was like, he just danced that fucking extractor all the way across that freaking.
And I've done it too. And, but I promise. Oh, yeah. And usually when I danced it, especially when I was just starting, I would dance it, Trey. So your remarks are well placed. Mm-hmm. People will pick that up first and just go to town with it. And especially we'll take it up over, past 3/4 of the molding. Like they'll take it up here and stuff. So yeah. I get that. But I was like, this is going to be an interesting guy to watch.
I'm telling you, foresight,
man. Yeah.
Watching someone foresight a windshield with an express, and you're just like,
oh yeah.
Okay.
Back in the day, I remember the 1551s.
Yeah.
When I was coming up real early, because we all of us who have gotten better, I think for the most part have started out under hacks.
Yeah.
And then you start doing it, and then you go, okay, there's a better way to do this. We're destroying cars. And that's what got me started, was like, okay, we got to find a better way to do this. But I mean, like, I still remember in the early days, 1551, cussing the whole time with a bottle of water trying to extract it out because, God, you just can't get them out.
Dude,
so,
and then I'm not innocent.
But,
that a hard metal molding across the top, and like you couldn't get your cold knife in there, and it kept wanting to rub it up, and then you had a hell of a time getting the moldings off anyways on those Ford pickups. You know what I mean? Like they did not want to come off anyways. Dude, I destroyed a pair of those when those first came out. It was '04. Yeah, it was 2004. So it was my first year, like just coming into it was my first year, and Ford released that 1551 with those stupid moldings that ran clear back to back. I had no clue how to take them off, dude. I freaking destroyed that set, like just completely. And it was at a body shop, and they didn't have no idea how to take it off either. And dude, we ended up having to buy both sides and new clips. I destroyed those fucking things, dude. Like, man, I was just bent them all up, and yeah, it was bad. But I watched a guy cut that whole retaining strip off on a 1551 with his Express.
Oh man, down the sides, the
Yep.
A-pillar retainers.
Yep, he cut both of them off.
Ooh.
Oh, both, yeah. He calls me up and he goes, because I was like one of the senior people there, and he calls me up and he's like, "Can you come look at this?" Yeah, sure. So I can jump in my van and go up there, and he was like, "What the fuck are we gonna do?" I was like, "We're gonna leave the windshield out. We're going to order those parts. We're going to re-rivet them back on, and we're going to put the put the windshield in. We can't, we're going to have to buy more. We're going to have to rent them a car, man. You can't. What is wrong with you, dude? We can't just put some glue in there and push it down." I was like, "No, you can't just put some glue in there and just push it down."
That's hackery, man.
Yeah,
Yes.
It is, man. It is. But
Yeah.
and I don't care how careful you are, though. Like most of the time, I can avoid doing it. But there's been one or two times where down in the cowl corners, like the blade will hit the metal of the car, and I know that it's going to get primed, and it's going to go under a cowl corner piece of the cowl. It'll never see the light of day. But just the fact that I nicked it, I think of Trey's comment. I'm like, oh. I was like, Trey, man.
You're standing outside, you're watching it, and it pokes through too quick, and you're like, "Bah!" It's like,
a little operation.
Yep.
So, well, and I try to train all our guys in here whenever we're training them is like, if at all possible, we pull every part with zero damage. Like that is the goal. 0 damage at all. Now I understand it's not always possible. Like we were talking about 1551s, you get it out at the bottom and it's 4 fingers wide. The urethane's 4 fingers wide.
Right there in the center.
It's like, well, how do you even? And it's pancake. It's like bologna.
Oh yeah,
all the way to the deck.
Yep.
And sometimes it's impossible. But the goal is to provide a job for the customer so that the vehicle will last as long as possible. Its lifespan is as long as it possibly can be.
Yeah.
That's a good outlook. That's a really good outlook. I don't think enough people get the credit for teaching their techs that because it's so much wham bam, get them done as quick as you can. I like that. And yes, you need to fix your mistakes, but if you can start to develop a style to eliminate mistakes, to make sure that, because once you scratch it, humidity in the air, especially somewhere where you live, it's already starting to trade off electrons to start to corrode a little bit, like even just a little bit of time that you have it, the window out before you can prime it, So I like that. That's a very good outlook, Trey, that you want to try to create no damage no matter what part you're removing, whether it be a molding, whether it be the windshield, whether it be, I like that outlook. That's a very good outlook. So good on you for that. That most people don't look at it like that. I like that. Even if they're professional, it's just like, yes, do it right. But if you make damage, who cares? You can fix it.
You video every pre-inspection, don't you, Trey? Or almost every one.
We just started doing it. Man, I tell you what, I've been absolutely terrible about pre-inspections through my career.
Same here.
I guess because I've been doing it kind of independent for so long, and I really didn't have people under me. Us having employees is actually relatively new. It's in the past 2.5 years or so, really starting to grow this thing. And I guess I was just always comfortable not taking pre-inspection, and I never had any issues. And then we started hiring guys, and it's like, oh man, this is an issue. We got to start, So now, and I think we've about got it trained in, not only to me, but the other tech that's in the shop. Immediately, cars come in, and we shoot a video. Walk all the way around the car, all 4 wheels, open both doors up, panels, headliner, A-pillar trims, dash, and seats. And we just try to do a good video on everything. Just, it's way easier to get a video that encompasses the whole car rather than trying to take pictures of just the damage you see, because you're bound to miss something.
It's true.
Vehicle protection. Vehicle protection. What do you guys use for vehicle protection?
You go first, Trey. You're our guest. Okay, I use a Harbor Freight moving blanket. Okay, all right, I use a Harbor Freight moving blanket.
Well, that's what I did for years until I got my
I mean-
Turbo covers and, got all my fancy covers with the logos and everything on it. But I think vehicle protection is so huge. That's the one argument that I have with people, and I'll die on the sword from it, is they're like, yeah, I'm not taking that much time, and people are going to freak out if I walk up and put that on their car. But first, it's like a big ass billboard. So you're advertising your shop while you're doing it. It looks so super professional, and you protect the vehicle. But what do you do? Just tape off?
So we use wisdom and be careful. That's kind of what we do. No, so if it calls for it, if it's, like on everything, we don't use protection on everything. We probably should. I was actually looking at the hood covers and stuff a while back with the logo on it. I think it's awesome. But like we'll pull out tape, Harbor Freight blankets when it's needed. If we got a glass that's going to break up pretty bad, start throwing some blankets out, or something that's super dirty, throw some blankets out. But if it's, seems like it's going to be a pretty cut and dry job, we, most of the time we don't really cover anything up. And then everything, if there's any dirt or anything that winds up in the car, every car gets blowed out before it leaves the shop or we leave the job, whether it's mobile or in-house. Everything. I tell everybody the way I've kind of based it to this point is every car leaves better. It looks better when it leaves than it did when it showed up.
Yeah.
So like even if you're just blowing the dust out of their floor mats that they brought with them, just blow it out real quick. And when they get in, the customer's like, oh man, it's just that small little detail. Everybody's like, God, they did a good job.
Well, if I can give you any kind of advice, work vehicle protection into on almost all of them, that they're not like super beat up or whatever. Because I have mine like over 2,000 installs on mine now over the last 2 years, 2.5 years, something like that. And just the amount of customers, like I said, I've gained accounts because of it. The amount of customers are like, oh my God, you're taking all this extra time and it looks so cool. And it's just, I'm huge on vehicle protection, and I've never really fucked a car up, we all have, but like not to the point that where, it's like wisdom is thrown out the window. But I still am huge on vehicle protection, man. I think it's just a cool additive. It's just like that cool extra little thing. What's the difference between ordinary and extraordinary? Just a little extra.
No, it's definitely cool, man. I see the stuff online. I see the guys with their logos. I'm like, dang, that looks dope. That looks dope.
That's funny, dude. That's funny. Yeah. Well, I got those custom covers on the way, man. They're on the way.
Yeah. As long as you're protecting it, that's my biggest thing. And if you're protecting it, and I love your outlook on leave the vehicle better than when you got there. We wash all the windows. We'll sweep the floorboards out. The one thing that always like worried me, so I started spraying down the dash. I'll remove my dash cover and wipe it off. Is that old man, as soon as you get I can't clean that part of the dash, and he starts spraying the armor all over the place, and you're like, oh my god, dude. So I'll wipe dashes down, and it is leave it better than when you got there. That's a great look.
These covers that you got, James. Now, would you ever look at a car and be like, no, my covers are not coming into contact with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
What happens to those covers if they hit one of those? We've all seen the sticky dash.
Oh yeah, no,
the dash would that ruin the covers? Like if we threw it in there?
I don't have a dash cover like that. I have my own made dash cover, which is a yoga mat with leather on top of it sewn in, and it's cut in half so I can slide it to whatever length I need.
Would that not stick to the dash?
It does. It does stick to the dash on that one. I have been known to tape off the vents on those ones. Instead of putting a dash cover down, tape off the vents so nothing falls down in there. So when they hit their, because the main thing for a dash cover for me is making sure nothing falls in. That way, when they hit their defrost for the first time, it doesn't, even if it's dirt, it doesn't fly all over them that has, sprinkled down in there. So I'll tape those ones off. Some of the like dirty old trucks and cars that come in that are like completely filthy, I've kind of, I've been known to wash a fender off to put my fender cover on, like, cause I'm just like, they're machine washable. They're super durable. But like, I'm just like, man, I don't want to have to go home and wash these things, you know? So there are some that have got the moving blanket instead of the nice covers. Yes. Cause I still have my moving blankets and my canvas drop cover. Cause that's what I used to use on the seats was the canvas drop, you know what I mean? Cause I just put it over and then I'd use the Harbor Freight moving blankets, the real cheap ones with a couple Harbor Freight magnets, pop, 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 you know, kind of thing, or tape it if it's aluminum body. But you know, I'll break out my covers just for, you know, the dog and pony show, and it does protect if you happen to have an oopsie moment. So
Yeah, that's a good idea with the magnets. I didn't even think about that. I've always just threw the Harbor Freight moving blankets just on top of it. I never thought about putting a cheap magnet on it to hold it.
yeah, they sell them at Harbor Freight, the real cheap ones. You know, they're like square, and I'll just stick them on there. Or I've been known to take and tape off the edge of the hood and take those chip clips, the big metal black clips, and then clip them around that. And you know, I have a hood light that latches over the side, a Milwaukee one, latches over the side. So if I'm not going to run my like cover all the way around it because it sometimes messes that light up, I'll tape that and then put my light around it, and then I'll put my cover over top. So
It's a tight setup there. Works.
Way to show us up, James.
Yeah,
No,
thanks, man.
no.
Especially with the Milwaukee. You know we can't afford that.
Oh yeah,
can't
come
afford
on.
Milwaukee.
Yeah, okay, yeah. All right, I hear you. Hey, listen, I've said it before many times on the show. I'm a brand whore. Like if
Yeah.
I get a brand I really like, it's really I'll just die on that sword, man. It's like okay, it's got to be a Milwaukee. So pretty much everything
Their
I have
service
that's
is not
not
the same.
no.
Their service is
Bet
not
you
the
got
same
an iPhone
anymore.
too, don't you?
I do.
Oh yeah, he does.
I do.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Oh yeah.
We're recording right now
iPhone
on an.
guys in Milwaukee. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm recording on an iMac. I have a MacBook Pro. I have an iPhone, and then I just got the Apple Watch because my Garmin's didn't tell me the directions on my watch when I'm out on my Vespa. So I needed something that would show it on the watch, so I didn't have to keep grabbing my phone. So
I've noticed something over the years. Milwaukee guys they're iPhone guys. I don't know what it is. They run hand in hand. If you're a trend whore for one, you're a trend whore for both. You don't ever they're never separate.
no. I think it's just because we know what quality is and what it looks like, so that's why we go with it.
And I bet you cannot stand, James. I bet you cannot stand that you have that one DeWalt tool in your van.
I don't have any. Zero.
You don't have any? Zero.
So
So on your extractor, do you use the Diablo or something?
yeah.
It's Milwaukee branded.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
No,
that's
I
too
have
far.
that. No, I
It's too
have that
far.
one that's the Sawzall with the hack ops,
okay.
that they put on
Got it.
top of it. I put the hack ops on there. That's what I run. So I don't have. Now I do have a Glass Rebel, but it doesn't go in my toolbox. And I kind of just leave it off to the side. Great tool. I've used it a few times. It's a great tool, but it's got a yellow battery, so it kind of bums me out. So listen, if I'm gonna build a setup, I want it around one battery because I've had different batteries in my van at different times, and wouldn't you know, the one I need to use runs out of the battery because I didn't charge it because you know I'm not very smart, and the only other battery I have in my van is the DeWalt one, and I can't use my Milwaukee caulk and gun with that DeWalt battery, so I'm just like screwed. So for me, it's like I got to keep the exact same battery and have a bunch of them that I can switch between tools.
That's why I went black and yellow. Why I went DeWalt. And I'll tell you the reason I went DeWalt is because we didn't have a Milwaukee dealer that was any closer than an hour to me when I went DeWalt. And I was like, okay, if I'm working on something on the weekend or I'm around the house, I'm not fixing to spend 2 hours worth of time on the weekend when I'm doing a construction project to go buy a new tool that's black, that's red. You know?
Yeah.
Like, screw it. We're going DeWalt. And I probably would have went Milwaukee, but I'm not unhappy with DeWalt in any way.
No, they're great tools, and I used to use DeWalt exclusively. But when I left Richardson and I came back to Richardson, we had glazers, the commercial glazers, and I had DeWalt stuff. And wouldn't you know it, every time I left my battery or charger in the shop, those motherfuckers took it. So I'm like, I got so sick and fed up of replacing batteries and chargers. I went and I bought Milwaukee stuff because it's like nobody else in the shop used Milwaukee. And I just fell in love with the brand. So that's why I went that way. Like all my construction tools are Milwaukee and, you know, just my big toolboxes and everything. But thought DeWalt was a great product until every single time I left my battery on my bench to charge it or something, it was gone when I came in the next day. And I'm just like, you guys stop taking my stuff, so they wouldn't. So I just, and then nobody owns up to it. I would mark it and everything, and I'd go through the vans trying to find it. Couldn't find it. And like nobody would own up to it and be like, yeah, man, I took it. Here you go. And I've been cool with it, but nobody wanted to own up to it. So I was like, you know what? You can't take it if it's a different color.
You got a lot of Trey. You got a lot of distributors out your way. Can you get like hot shots during the day and stuff like that? Or I'm wondering.
So I got three distributors that run to me. We got wholesale, which I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with wholesale lately. We can't get anything from those guys. They don't stock anything. Their prices are ridiculous. They basically turned into a flat glass, which they were primarily flat glass before. But so we rarely ever get anything from wholesale. But I've got Pilkington out of North Charleston, and I've got PGW out of Savannah. Now, I did some sweet talking with PGW out of Savannah to get them to start delivering to me, but we're over an hour away in either direction from either warehouse. So,
man.
And there's a PGW in North Charleston as well. I get two nights a week. They'll run to me if they've got availability on something Savannah doesn't. But Savannah does a daily run to me midday. Pilkington does a nightly run about 8 o'clock every night. And everything we get gets delivered to us. Maybe once a year I'll go to the warehouse in Savannah and pick something up. Once a year, maybe.
You don't have Migrant or IGC in your area?
Nope. No, Migrant is not lower. They're not any farther south than Columbia and no farther north than Savannah. So I'm right in this dead zone that we can't get them here. And I would love to have another option. Migrant, if you're listening, come on in to the dang Charleston market.
Trey Black, come on now.
We can use another
IGC.
option.
Nielsen and Moeller.
So
Michael McCarthy, distributor, come on in. We need another option down there.
Eventually, I think it's going to get to the point where we're just going to start buying containers worth of stuff. And, we were talking about it last year that maybe this year we'd start doing it. We hadn't started doing it. But, I'd imagine probably in the next year or so, it's probably not going to be a bad idea. We start stocking our top 50 sold items or something like that.
I have heard that when you do that, glass gets really low on cost. I heard.
So when you buy a container, can you mix and match, or do you just have to buy so much of whatever to get the container? Can you mix and match your glass parts?
So
I don't know.
What I've been told through Nielsen and Moeller is you can mix and match. So you got a crate comes with so many pieces. Now, you order, this many 1551s will fit on a crate, and this many, 1217s or 1219s will fit on a crate, and you order it basically by crate. It's like, I'll take, if 15 will fit on this crate, I want 15 of these, and then 10 will fit on this crate, I want 10 of those, and then you fill out a container. So, and this is talking to some guys out of Texas, talking to some guys out there. I think that's the only one I spoke to. I talked to him, and he orders through somebody in Arizona or something like that, Nielsen and Moeller, and they build their containers out for their top 50 sold parts and get a 2 or 3 containers a year, something like that.
That's solid, man.
Could you do your top 50 by demographic? Like figure out what the top 50 vehicles sold in your area has been over the last 15 years to where you can kind of plan out your container a little bit better than instead of the top 50 they sell, could you be like, okay, the demographic in my area is more Toyotas, because they historically have sold more Toyotas in my area than, Nissans or, because it'd be shitty if you got, their top 50 and it was like a Nissan Rogue and there's like only like 12 people in your entire area that drive Nissan Rogues, kind of thing.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean like their top 50. I mean like run an invoice report in your system of the top 50 sold parts the year previous. And
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, make an educated decision on how many you plan on doing the next year, and continuing that over. And if the body style changes, and then you can you tweak it as you go.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense because I'm thinking I thought the way I heard it in my brain just doesn't process information like everybody else's. So I apologize. Was I heard that their top 50, like they had a list of top 50, and then you bought that container and it had those 50 parts in it. And it's like, well, shoot, what if like, Toyota's popular in my area, but Ford's not, or vice versa.
You get a crate of nothing but just straight Alfa Romeo and Teslas. That's all you get.
Yeah. We just recently got into calibrating Teslas because we didn't have enough in our market to make it worth spending the money on the target and the adapters and stuff. And
that is crazy.
We bought it.
That is crazy.
We've worked on one Tesla and hadn't got a call on another Tesla since.
I don't know about
like
that.
We had three call in a 60-day period, and it was like, okay, there's an uptick, and it's like, okay, maybe it's time to go ahead and buy this. And then we bought a Tesla part, did an install for a customer, and I did a Tesla door glass here, I don't know, 3 weeks ago probably, and like I see them bouncing all around, but I guess they're all going over to Savannah to get them worked on because or they're not breaking. One of the two.
They're breaking. Is Savannah got a service center for Tesla? Okay.
Yep. Okay.
That's probably what's going on is because we did a lot of, we did Tesla in Columbus, Ohio at their service center. And a lot of Tesla owners are in the habit of going directly back to Tesla to have things like that done because they're breaking roof glasses because the way that the roof rails hook onto those things. And then they're breaking windshields. There's no shortage of windshield breaks. It's just a lot of Tesla owners don't realize they can go somewhere else besides the service center. I mean, they go there for tires. They go there for, pretty much everything. The service centers is because what they'll do is they'll actually give them a Tesla to drive for however long they need to while their car's being worked on. Some of them will go pick it up. Like I know the Easton would go within 100 miles and pick up the Tesla for the day, work on it, and then take it back to the customer and leave a Tesla when they, take a Tesla, leave a Tesla kind of thing.
Gotcha.
But I don't know if that's what they do in your area, but that's what they did in Columbus, Ohio. And cause we did that, heck, they're still doing it at Richardson, even though I'm not there. And we would go in once a week. We'd section off Thursdays and just go over and do all the glass work. So maybe something to look into, even though Savannah's an hour away, you might want to talk to them that you can calibrate and maybe they can, if you have someone in our area that has a Tesla that needs a windshield, we'd be more than happy to work with you to take care of that,
Yeah. It's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. I know our Rover dealerships like that, man. You get folks that own Rovers, they just want to go to the dealer for everything. There's a brand loyalty there that's like, oh my, are you qualified to work on my Rover? Meanwhile, nobody at Rover's qualified to work.
Qualified to work on your Rover.
Yeah.
No doubt. I was doing a Range Rover. It was just a chip repair. This was just a chip repair. And I was training somebody that had driven up from Texas, and he listens to this podcast. He's going to remember this. And so we were in the parking lot of a dealership that I work on. They had driven about 35, 40 miles to come get this chip repair done. So I put the guy who is training this week with me, that's going to go back and start his own business, I put him on the windshield because this is like his last day. He's really good. I've got all the confidence in the world with him. He's ready. He needs this boost. He needs to work on this Range Rover Defender, or the Land Rover Defenders. He needs to work on this. So I get on it. And so this lady, she just visibly gets shaken. Her body language changes to she was like this, like Superman. I got a pen. She was like this, all confident. And then when he climbs up the ladder, she's like, so I'm like, I think that have we upset you? And she said, well, yeah, you've got a trainee working on my car. I was like, I said, who would you like to work on your car? And she goes, you, the master technician. And so I was like, okay. And by the time I was like, okay, I'm not going to say his name. He's cool. Congratulations on the new baby. He just had a new kid. I was like, okay, come down the ladder. I want to step in here. And I looked up and he already had the cure lamp on it. Like he was done. It was like, and it looked beautiful. And I was flexing it. Couldn't find anything wrong with it. So I wanted to drive that confidence home. And I looked at him and I said, you did an amazing job. And I looked at her and I was like, I'm sorry we upset you, but he needed this. And so when I told everyone that it was going to be okay, it kind of simmered down a little bit, but it's great. You're right. They want these patch. They want to see your certificates. They want.
I love when you walk up and they're like, have you ever seen one of these before? Have you worked on one? And you're like, no. How long you been doing this? I don't know, day and a half. This is my second day, I mean, Yeah, like, have you ever
First one
seen
I've
one
ever
of
seen.
these? Yeah, first one I've ever seen. I've never even seen
Yeah.
one before. Those are always the greatest customers. And they're like the Corvette customers are like that too. They're driving a Corvette. They're like that as well. Like, they want to make sure that you know what you're doing working on their Corvette. And it's like, it's a GM product. It can't be too fucking hard.
If they pass the vibe check on the phone, I will absolutely. And I have walked up to them with an active like extractor running, going towards the chip, and they were like, "What are you doing, sir?" They were like in the garage. I was like, "I'm just playing." Come back with my chip kit.
We just did a short video. We put out kind of what was going on in the shop Friday, and I think it come out on the social media Friday. But I called out Corvette owners a little bit. It was like, talking about inspection videos. It was like, Corvette owners, you know who you are.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Corvette owners, man, they get out. They've got the dad khaki shorts on. They got the New Balances on,
White
white
New Balance.
white New Balances,
Yeah.
and then they're like, "Is that GM glass? That has to be GM glass." Listen, I'm going to get my measuring tape out, and I'm going to measure across there to make sure that molding lays flat across the top of that, and we're going to gap this. And it's like, come on, bro. Like, are you serious? Okay,
Well,
do it. Bring it on.
James, you remember that Mustang we did together in
Yeah.
that dude's garage that had a lift installed in his personal garage?
Yep.
This dude breaks out wasn't it like a spark plug measuring gap? Like,
Yeah, it was a gap gauge. Yep.
Gap
Yep.
gauge. He was just like
Mm-hmm.
on that
Yeah.
side. I was like, wow, I'm glad James is here with me because I was still kind of new. I didn't even bring any sausage tips.
Yeah, that was an interesting day.
So this dude pulled out a spark plug gauge tool to measure,
Because the
The gap
Ford's
on
got the
the-
naked edge. The Ford,
'cause-
the Ford Mustang, they have naked edge all the way around. It's his baby, man.
so
He
it was one of the
measured
new
that
body
gap.
style Mustangs.
Yep.
Yeah. He measured it all the way around, man. He's like,
And he had
Man,
measured it before we got there. Yeah, he had measured
Oh,
it
he
before
did?
we got there. Yeah. Yeah, him and I were talking, and he had measured it before we got there just to kind of make sure that we were, kind of what we were supposed to be doing. Him and I talked a good bit there for a minute, and while he was cutting out the windshield and everything, and
oh
he,
man,
he had already knew, and I didn't have my gap gauge on me, but we just used a fiber stick, and because I carry a gap gauge on me to make sure, because we do a lot of Teslas, and with Tesla, if it's not really close to the way it was when it came out, it's going to change the acoustics inside that vehicle because they don't have the engine noise. So if it changes the acoustics inside there, you're going to end up with a wind noise, which isn't a wind noise. You're going to end up with a rumble, which isn't a rumble. So I have an actual gap gauge that's made for Teslas, and to make sure that I gap my distances and make sure the roof and the windshield line up exactly, that they've got the exact same gap all the way around, because I use it when I deck to make sure that I get it exactly where it needs to be. And I use it on normal windshields too. I'll gap it and then write on the tape on the top of the roof line what the gap is, so I don't forget, because I'll forget by the time it's to deck it. So I'll put the number across there. Yeah.
So Tesla, that one we ordered all the stuff. The first Tesla we had in, we did a windshield replacement on. I think it was a 2023 Model Y, and
Yep.
like it went to the Tesla service center in Savannah to have the windshield replaced on it. The deck height on the windshield was like a solid 3/16 of an inch higher than the roof line. Like, and she was like, "This doesn't look right." Like, of course it doesn't look right. I'm just like, and you got this done at the service center. I mean, it's like, I'm really curious to see what it looks like when we get it out. Like, if this is what they've got going on, what did they do underneath? So,
Well, a lot of the
underneath
service-
it wasn't bad. Other
Well,
than
a lot of the-
fat giant bead.
Yeah, I don't know about all the service centers, but a lot of them will have in-house technicians do it. Like the actual technicians that work on the vehicles, they'll do the glass work as well. The reason why they brought us in was because of overflow, and their training for their techs is a PDF. They have to read a PDF, and then that's it. They don't really have to do much else. So for us, we came in and we basically, we showed them what to do and how to do it, and they still call us. I say us. I don't work there anymore. They still call Richardson when they have a lot of overflow, but they'll do 2 or 3 because it'll take a Tesla tech all day to do a windshield. We're in and out of there in like an hour and 5. Yeah, it takes them all day to do one. But yeah, if you redecked it exactly where it needed to be, Trey, if you do that again, just make sure you tell the customer, like, it may change the noise level inside this car for a while, but just give it 2 weeks and you'll adapt to whatever the sound is.
Oh, the new normal. No, well, that
Yes.
makes sense. If you got no engine noise, well, and I know when I drove it, I was paying attention to the road noise and stuff. I was like, it's a totally different animal. You know, it's different.
Absolutely is. Yeah, because, and then the Rivians and things that are going to be coming out that's all electric, you're going to have to be more precise with your placement of moldings, make sure they're attached down, make sure your gaps are all good, because of the fact that there is not that engine noise. You have just the road noise of the tires, and a lot of the tires nowadays, they're getting whatever it is to make the road noise quieter through the tires. I'm not sure how that works. I'm not a tire tech, but you really have to pay attention to the way it comes out to put it back in damn near exact, so that way you don't have that to where they're coming back and being like, it's a lot louder than it was before. Yeah, well, turn your radio up.
God,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hyundai customers.
Hyundai.
Like you get a Hyundai or a Kia customer that come back and go, oh my God, it's so much louder than it used to be. Like Hyundais and Kias are about as loud as a car gets. It's like they're noisy. Then we had a lady, she come in here a while back, and of course it was a real respectful conversation, and she was like, it's noisier, and I went and drove it, and I'm like, no, this sounds like a normal Hyundai. And she said, wow, that's just, it's so much louder. And I said, no, I mean, Hyundais are, it was like a Hyundai Ascent. And I was like, this is one of the noisier cars that you can get. Like they have tons of road noise. She said, wow, I bought it because it was one of the quietest cars we drove. I was like, oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
If you say.
Did you turn your hearing aid down when you took that test drive? Because man, it's entry level, and anything entry level is going to have a lot of road noise. And they're going to ride very rough. They're going to ride very rough, and they're going to have a lot of road noise. Yeah.
So I know we've been going for about an hour.
Yep.
But I got to ask Trey this. We had him on because he would answer these questions.
Yes.
With truth and vigor. So, Trey, let's get your input, your comment, if you will, on the advanced cure position statement from Subaru, talking about fast cure urethanes, stress cracking the glass.
I have opinions on this too.
I've never had a Subaru stress crack, so I don't know.
Same here.
I'm not educated to make an opinion on it. It seems kind of crazy to me. I don't know. I haven't had the issue, so I can't. So now is the cracking happening all in the same spot on these cars? Because
no.
Infiniti had a car a while back that they would split in the center. It was like a QX35 or something. It was like
F-150s went through some of that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't have anything with the F-150s, and we do a ton of Fords, but those Infinitis would crack right up the center. They were stress cracking straight off the truck. And I do a ton of Subarus too. And we don't have any issues with Subarus.
Well, I just got
maybe it's in Dow, guys. Maybe it's a Dow issue.
Maybe it's a Dow issue. Well,
thanks, Trey.
Well, I don't think to me, I don't think it has, they didn't consult any urethane experts when they released this statement, obviously, because for me, it's more about the modulus of the urethane than it is the actual cure time, how fast it cures. The cure time, it's not going to cure faster in one area and then less in another and then cause the stress cracking that I think they're talking about. For me, if you're using an all-in-one modulus and the car is built a little bit more for comfort, like the new Subarus are, so they're a little bit softer, they give a little bit more. So you don't want that high modulus, stiffer urethane, because when the body flexes, that's solid. Yeah. Also, if you think about it, most Subarus that I know of are asymmetrically strengthened. So the outside glass is thinner than the inside glass. And as you make it more of a curve, it also thins it out even more. And you have that heating element right there along the bottom that is a change in temperature to a thinner piece of glass. So for me, I think it boils down to the modulus of the urethane and the asymmetrically strengthened glass. But that's just my opinion on it. So take it for what you want.
We should do some digging and kick this around with somebody on the next episode.
I mean, that's what I think. So here's my thing. I own a Subaru. Okay, I'm a Subaru guy. So I just got a class action. It explains a lot. I just got a class action thing to where they're paying out for the eyesight. If you had premature brake failure or wear and all these things, right? So what about all the shops that just had to replace the camera because they changed the windshield? And, the camera's now bad, even though it has nothing to do with it. Like, do they get reimbursed for that? Because it's like 13 to 24 You know, it's like a big range on this class action suit that's going on.
That's probably a good enough time it might bring back some shops that it put out of business.
Yeah.
That range.
Yeah, because they have a TSB on it too. Currently, it was released 2 days ago.
Because I mean, these eyesight cameras, I held one time. It was about 20 pounds. Like, it was heavy.
They're tanks, man.
Yeah, dude. And so, like, I can't imagine. Don't they run like $2,000, something like that? 20.
Oh, they're pretty expensive. Yeah.
That's a lot of money. I would hate to have to pay out on one of those. That's why I tell my people.
We've never had one of those fail on our end either.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So your techs know not to even touch like the housing. Just don't even look at the
man.
camera.
I did goof up one time, and I used water on the pinch well to scrub the pinch well a little bit, and drip water on the lens, and it got behind the lens, and it kept failing recalibration. So I took the lens cover off of it,
clean the lens cover. Yep.
Cracked it, and then had to order lenses for it. Luckily, I could get the lenses, but it was like $70 for 2 little tiny squares. And we put it back together, brought it in, put it back together, and calibrated the car, and it went through just fine. But it was like, man, what a goof up. So like now, I'm very particular about Subarus and how they get cleaned because it can get expensive quick.
Yeah. Well, then the new ones, you got to remove the camera off of the glass. You got to keep it perfectly level. And then you got to put it back on the glass, and it could throw off the gyro inside. And there's all kinds of things that could happen from the inside of those cameras. I've never had an issue with one, but I know a lot of techs have. And I think it's because a lot of techs are just a little bit too rough with cameras. I think in general, technicians are a little too rough than cameras.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Well said, James.
So our biggest thing in our shop, you pull sensitive items off of old windshield, and they go on to new windshield.
Bingo.
That's how I run it. We don't set parts down anywhere. You don't set them on a rack. You don't set them in a seat. You don't set them on a floor. Put them right on your new part, unless there's something that prevents you from installing the part with an attachment on it.
Yes, unless like the headliner's in the way or something like that. You're right. But don't let a camera hang. Those wires are super thin. No. And a lot of them are 2 wires that go into that one plug. And if one of the wires go bad, you know, it's like the whole CAN bus, the high speed and low speed CAN bus, those wires are super thin that hang in, and it swings, and you're pushing it out of the way. And like, to me, take that camera off, put it directly on the new glass. You don't have to worry about it.
I've gotten criticized for saying that same thing. Like, oh, it's not going to hurt it. Look, it's an F-150 camera. Look how light it is. Well, like, man, it just doesn't matter. Protect your vital parts. Put them on your new windshield. Prep your glass first.
Go ahead, Trey. Dave Koppel, Autoglass Helpline. I remember I was watching one of his videos real quick, and we got to wrap it up soon. We're dragging on. So. Yeah. But I was watching one of his videos. He not only does that, but he also brings the housing over and the rearview mirror, and he checks the positioning of all of it, because it's kind of all centered around how your rearview mirror is gonna hang. So if the housing is way over the mirror button, you know something's off automatically. So pretty cool. Bring the housing over too. Yeah. Well, they can criticize me too, because that F-150 camera is real light. It's real light, but then you're pushing it out of the way, you're moving it, and those wires that hold it on are really thin. You know, they're only meant to carry like 3 to 5 amps at the most. So, you know, that's just me.
Yep, I'm in agreement with you.
Low voltage, man. I gotta have high voltage. Okay. All right. So don't hang up. Hey, everybody, thank you for listening. Have a great evening. Don't hang up, guys, because I have to upload the system. It has to upload real quick. So we are now